out in the world, but
I'm sorry,
yeah,
I'm recording.
that's okay. Yeah, we're excited by it, but we have to wait and see what other people think, I suppose. But it's a record about and inspired by the city of Berlin, and it's it's kind of using the city much the way that a lot of our heroes have, but using the city as a kind of source of creative inspiration and as a source of creative reinvention to try and write a record that is different from the previous ones, but still, still the next chapter in our own story, I suppose. So it's an exciting time, definitely, to be putting the record out.
What has Berlin that inspired musicians? And this album has three parts. And I remember the Bowie trilogy from Berlin in the 70s.
Yeah.
Tell me why you guys flying in that city.
Well, so many reasons, really. And I think the album itself is an attempt to answer that question, or to answer several questions. But I think it's because it's been such a big draw to creative people and to people who inspire us for so long. And whether that's something that's uniquely due to Berlin and its geography and its political history, or whether it's something that is to do with the stories that have been told about it, some stories which may not be true, they may be kind of myths, or they may carry kind of hints of embellishment or all kinds of things like that. It's a uniquely appealing place, and I think the album is our attempt to investigate what drew us there and also what draws other people there, and why it has that kind of romantic pull that a lot of other cities just simply don't. What's special about Berlin, basically.
A lot of people said that music journalists are frustrated musicians, and I think public service broadcasting are musicians and frustrated journalists. Am I right?
I did think about trying to become a journalist when I was out of university, yeah, but I decided I didn't really want it enough, given how competitive it is. So, it's great to be able to tell a story with music as well, and to be able to kind of really get in depth on some of the subjects that we write about. I think music is my first love, though, so I think I'm very happy to be doing this for a job rather than anything else. I think it's the one job I'd like more than any other in the world, so very, very lucky.
And how did the band deal with the copyright thing in the beginning, with the sound and composition using tapes from TV and radio, old tapes?
Well, in the beginning, we didn't care because nobody was listening. So, we just did it. And that's kind of, that's probably the best way to go about it, really, is to just, if that's what you want to do, just do it. And if it becomes successful, then worry about it then, and it started to kind of, find an audience and find a crowd and find a bit of interest. And that's when I got more serious and started speaking to, the British Film Institute and other companies who held the rights to the footage that we wanted to use, and asked for permission and, entered into more serious agreements with them. But really, if I'd waited for all of that to fall into place, I would never have got going. So I think it's important, if you're just experimenting for your own interest and for your own sake, as I was in the early days, then just do it and worry about the rest later. That's what I'd say.
There's a bureaucratic process to release a song, and in your case, it's the double.
In UK, it's the what? Sorry.
In your case, it's the double work from bureaucracy, permission, and then release it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we've been lucky. We've got a great relationship with the BFI, who we've used a lot of samples from in the past, and that is very straightforward and very easy. Some others, we came up against a couple of hurdles for this record. We were refused permission for a couple of big samples that we wanted to use. So, the album, it's deliberately less reliant on samples, but there would have been more on there if we'd been given permission. So, that's how it turned out. We're not complaining, but it's just some people are a bit less open to artistic collaboration or artistic license than others, especially in Germany for some reason.
Well, Jay, some of the most experimental bands love to be in the studio more than touring, but you guys like the live shows in order to be more experimental. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think live is where music lives or dies, really. It's where the purest form of relationship between musician and audience exists, and it's the most satisfying thing in the world, is being able to go on stage every night and play your music to people who enjoy it. It's so extraordinarily it's such an extraordinarily powerful feeling, and also just so fortunate to be able to do that. So we've really missed it in the time that we've been away, and also in the time that we haven't been able to do it because of the pandemic. So yeah, I do like being in a studio. I like the immediacy of playing live, and I like the fact that if you do make a mistake, which I do often, it's gone and you can just let it go because there's nothing you can do about it now. You don't have to play it 40 times, and try and get it perfect. You do your best, and people hopefully enjoy it. I love playing live though.
How much can we expect from the next tour, especially with the whole Brexit and the visa tour? How much this affect the band and the rest of the bands in UK?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to affect us. It makes things more expensive and it makes things harder to do. I think as much as it affects us, though, really the real effects are for bands who are just starting out, and for bands who are trying to go on their first European tour, or go to France for a festival, or go to Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, Italy, Germany for a festival.
Yeah.
It used to be so simple and so unbureaucratic, and now it definitely isn't, and it's more expensive as a result. So it's a real shame. It's a real shame, and I think the biggest shame is that some of the biggest names in music, like the Who and like Iron Maiden, they didn't seem to consider that when they voted for it and espoused voting for it. Yeah, I think it's kind of, they've kind of pulled the ladder up for the next generation with their decisions, which is a real shame, I think.
I didn't know they voted for the Brexit, Maiden and...
Well, Dickinson, yeah, Bruce Dickinson was in favour of it. Although now he's saying it's not a great idea. You're like, well, we did try and tell you. And Roger Daltrey, I mean, there's no hope for Roger Daltrey. There's no hope. Well, yeah, I mean, he's like, yeah, there's no hope. Listen to what he said about it, and then just watch the Who die before your eyes. as anything remotely rock and roll, it's truly, yeah. Anyway, it's very disappointing.
Yeah. Well, Jay, thank you for this interview.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Cheers.
Goodbye, Jay.
Okay, have a good day. Cheers. Bye.
You too.